Boys and girls, it's Margo Dawson with Train Them Up for Success. Today is a very special day. This is a day where we celebrate Earth Day. Earth Day is celebrated all over the globe, all around the world. It started in 1970, and here today we're celebrating. Earth Day is an effort to help keep our planet safe and clean. So that means all over the world, people are doing all kinds of fun activities to celebrate keeping our earth clean. Right now, we're going through a tough time where we're having to stay home. But think about, since we've been home, what's happened to the earth? There are less cars on the road, which means that's less pollution. There's so many things that we aren't doing in terms of activity. It's almost like it's giving the earth a time to rest and recover. So today, we're going to celebrate Earth Day. And we're going to focus on water. What are some of the things that you all like to do at home with water? In my kitchen today, we're going to talk about water in celebration of Earth Day. What are some of the first things you do when you get up in the morning with water? How about brush your teeth? I know that's something that I do. I put my toothpaste on my toothbrush. I put a little water on it, and then I start to brush my teeth. What we don't want to do is turn on the water and brush our teeth and let the water run. Why? That wastes water. Do you know that we have to pay for our water here in the United States? I don't know where you are. Maybe you're living in another country, but in the United States, we have to pay for that. So in order to save water, or we use the word conserve, while we're brushing our teeth, we should turn the water off. What else do we use during the course of the day with water? How about a good old glass of water? That's really good. Do you know it's better to drink water than it is to drink a lot of sugary things like sodas and juice? Even juice can have a lot of sugar in it, and that's not good for our bodies. But water is a perfect drink. Something else we need water for every day is to wash our hands. And this is something that we have to do throughout the day to get the germs off. And now that we have been quarantined, or we're staying at home, they're saying wash our hands for 20 seconds. But you know what? That's good to do anyway. Uh-oh, I'm wasting water. I don't need to let that water run. But what I am going to do is I'm going to wash my hands for 20 seconds. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Woo! Look at all those suds. Now I'm going to turn my water on so I won't waste my water. And I'll rinse all this off. So we do this all throughout the day, boys and girls, moms and dads, teachers, everybody out there, to keep our hands nice and germ-free. What's one of the things you do in the morning with water in your face? That's right, you wash your face. You have a cloth and you wet it with water and you wash your face. How about your body? That's important. Have you ever taken a bath without water? No, that would just be silly. We need water to take a bath or take a shower to clean ourselves. Can you think of other things we use water with during the day? There's one. Watering plants in the house. Hey, let's do that now. I've got a few plants in my house, and it takes water to keep them healthy and alive. Water is life, even for plants. So I water my plants every day to give them nourishment. How about cooking? I know sometimes when I want a quick breakfast, I like a boiled egg. I can't boil an egg without water, so I fill up the pan with water, then I put it on the stove, and I turn it on. I can't make that boiled egg without water, so that's another way Animals need water too. We can't forget about them. Did you know that an elephant can suck up 2 gallons of water in its trunk? You know, that's that big piece up here. It looks like a big long nose. What's 2 gallons? This is 1 gallon of water. This is 2 gallons of water. It's like the milk maybe that you have at home. 2 gallons of water, an elephant can suck it up in its trunk because an elephant stores water in its trunk and it can spread and do whatever it needs of it. It can spread the water and use it however it wants. All kinds of animals need water. I bet you can think of some. Name some animals that you know need water to stay alive. You're right. Dogs, birds. I love those examples. Now let's go visit some of my friends at the park that need water too. Birds live near water too, where they find their food. Did you know that they eat water plants, fish, insects, or other animals? Many animals live in the water and they can't survive without it. Some hunt or hide deep in the water where it's cool and dark. In many parts of the world, there's not enough rain and we have things like drought. In other places, there's too much rain where we have destroying floods that can destroy whole communities and homes. And there are places right here in our country, in the United States, where the water is polluted, like in Flint, Michigan, where because of old rusty pipes, the water would come through the pipes into the homes and the water was contaminated, making many people sick and some people even died. So water isn't always clean and it's not even always available, which is why we need to work hard at learning how to take care of our water on God's given earth. Now we're going to go and visit our friends at NASA and they're going to tell us more about how water is all over the earth and how water starts and where it comes from. Join me.
Water is all around us, and its importance to nearly every natural process on Earth cannot be underestimated. It is the only compound that can be found naturally as a liquid, gas, and solid. The process by which water moves around the Earth, from the oceans to the atmosphere to the land and back to the ocean, is called the water cycle. Water regulates climate, storing heat during the day and releasing it at night, and carries heat from the tropics to the poles by sea and by air. Let's follow a single molecule of water beginning in the ocean through the paths it might take before eventually winding up right where it started, back in the big blue sea. The fuel for this journey will be provided by our planet's prime energy source, the sun. During the day, the sun heats up the air and ocean surface, causing water molecules to evaporate. Evaporation occurs when a liquid molecule of water escapes into the air as a gas. This scientific visualization shows how water evaporation, indicated in turquoise, is driven by the energy of the sun. Notice how the rate of evaporation pulses over land. It speeds up in the day and almost disappears at night. Over the ocean, evaporation appears to remain constant, both day and night. Water in the air in gas form is known as water vapor. The molecule is now fresh water, having left the ocean salt and other particles behind.
The water evaporates and goes into the atmosphere, and then it doesn't necessarily just turn around and fall as rain or snow.
Condensation is the process by which water vapor molecules cool, stick together, and become liquid again in cloud formation. This often happens high in the atmosphere, where the temperature is much lower than it is near the surface.
What happens in the atmosphere is, just like we have currents in the ocean, we have winds in the atmosphere that actually, to some extent, drive what goes on in the ocean currents. Materials in the atmosphere can travel actually a great distance, sometimes, a quarter of a way around the world, until they get to the point where they actually turn into rain or snow and thereby fall back to the ocean or fall back to the land.
This is called precipitation. If the water molecule falls on land as snow, it may be stored for a very long period of time in a polar ice sheet or mountain glacier, depending on climate conditions.
When rain falls or the snow melts, typically the next place it goes, it infiltrates into the soil. So soil is not a solid, it's not like a rock. There are pore spaces in there, and those can be filled with water. And typically there is a certain amount of water in the soil at all times. If the soil was completely dry, then plants wouldn't be able to grow.
If soil becomes saturated, any additional rainfall will collect in puddles and streams. Soil water that percolates deep enough will help to recharge an aquifer.
An aquifer is any underground geologic formation that stores water. So it's typically either a rock with a lot of cracks in it, or it's sandy layer. Sand has a lot of pore space in it, it can store a lot of water.
The water molecule might remain in an aquifer for more than 1 million years. More likely, it would help to replenish a stream, which would feed into lakes and rivers. Eventually, the water molecule will return to where it started, the ocean. People also have a role in the water cycle. By pumping water out of the ground for irrigation, cutting down forests for development, and building roads and other concrete surfaces that lead to runoff, people can have a serious impact on the path a water molecule takes.
The most obvious way that people affect the water cycle are the ways that we control the water after it's fallen on the land surface as rain or melts as snow. But we have put in dams and rivers to hold this water. We also pump the groundwater out and use that. So it's these water resources, we call them, are really us taking a natural part of the water cycle and using it to our benefit.
The water cycle also affects and is affected by climate variations.
The water cycle is one of the ways that we will really feel any changes in climate. So climate changes will feed back to water cycle changes, things like how much precipitation an area receives, the frequency of droughts and floods and this sort of thing.
The water cycle is the adventurous journey that water takes through the oceans, atmosphere, and land, driven by the sun. Improving our understanding of the water cycle and how it is changing will be critical for future decisions related to water management, agriculture, natural resources, and climate change.